Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I'm attorney Lee Marvin, and this is where I answer questions about immigration, provide updates, and very interesting things that are coming out in the news for anyone and everyone who logs in, especially those who have questions. Questions have to go in the comments section. So if you have questions about immigration, please post your questions so I can answer them. I always have questions from earlier in the day when I meet with clients, but please put your questions in the comment section so I can go ahead and answer those. Okay. So, welcome to all of our friends from Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, the works. We're on every social media platform. So, welcome to everyone who's here. So basically, some of the information I want to talk about, well, I'll get to that in a second. First of all, I want to say I hope you all had a wonderful Independence Day. I know I have a number of clients that were celebrating their very first Independence Day in the United States as legal residents and citizens. So kudos, congratulations to all those people, and I hope you had a really good one. Hope it's memorable, okay? So again, post your questions in the comment section so I can answer them. Again, whenever I start this broadcast every Monday, I like to ask people to post where they are joining us from. City, state, country. We have people from all over the world that join us, and it's always very interesting to everyone to see if there's some kindred spirits, some people from their homes. So if you post where you're from, that would be wonderful. I am in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Everybody probably already knows that, but I'm joining you today from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some storms going through, so you're not seeing my backyard view, which is what we normally have here. But again, welcome to everyone. Please post your questions. The other thing I wanted to post was this little link. Okay, this little link will allow you to ask your questions live. So if you want to ask your questions live instead of typing them out, you click on that link and we'll get you taken care of. Okay. So go ahead and do it, whether it's written, typed out, or verbalized. It's all the same. It's the information that you need, that you want, that you value. Okay. So there's a few things I want to talk about. Okay. So the big buzz is still this parole in place for spouses and children of U.S. citizens. Okay, so that program is opening up all sorts of questions. Immigration has not quite released enough information for people yet. So there's a fair amount of speculation, but as an attorney who's practiced immigration law for almost 12 years, that's kind of what I do best. So if you have questions, I can definitely address those questions. So some of the things people are asking me. Okay, this is a big one because we know that this is something that's coming up, which is proving that you've resided in the United States for the required amount of time, okay, which is 10 years. How do you do that? Okay, there's a number of ways, number of things you can do to show the government, to prove the government that you've been in the United States for 10 years. Ironically, unlike other immigration processes where you have to show that you've had a legal status, the new parole in place program, you need to prove that you have no legal status because if you enter the country legally, you don't qualify for the program. But the point is, how do you show that you have been in the United States for 10 years or more? Okay. So basically, there's a paper trail everywhere we go. No matter how hard people might try to leave no wake or path behind them, it's not really possible. That's a good thing when you actually need to prove your presence. So I will tell people that the things that they need to look for in showing your time in the United States for 10 years, if you did not enter with legal authority, is the things you did once you enter the United States. Okay. So we're talking where you lived, we're talking where you worked, we're talking schools, we're talking medical stuff, we're talking all those sorts of things that if you think hard, you definitely will be able to find that information. But basically, think of things that you've done for the last 10 years that you can get a copy of a document to prove that. Those are the things we're talking about, okay? So naturally, as information is released by the government, I will provide more guidance on how to use it and what it means. Okay, so that's the first tip that I wanted to give you this week is proven the 10 years in the United States. Okay, so we've got a friend join us from North Carolina. How are you? I want to know if you committed fraud presenting false documents to adjust status. Do one qualify? Can a 601 be submitted or needed for the parole in place? So multi questions there from our friend in North Carolina. So I will say that if you've applied for adjustment of status in the United States, so the question is a tricky one because it doesn't really apply, okay? Because in order to qualify for this parole in place program, you're not able to do it if you entered legally in the United States. If you applied for adjustment of status, that means, unless that's the thing you committed fraud about, that means that you entered the country illegally, which means you're not eligible for parole in place, okay? So these things are like onions. You peel them and there's more issues underneath, okay? So I'll say, so if you committed fraud by presenting false documentation during your adjustment status process, that's a really, really bad situation. And you can qualify for a waiver to eliminate that, but that is a very tough situation where the government don't take kindly to fraud in immigration. And if there's proof of it, if they accuse you of fraud, you got to tread very lightly with this, okay? And as we get closer to that point in time, you're probably going to have to reach out to me so I can help you figure it out to see if it is possible. I don't know if it is. I just know that the deck is stacked against you at this point in time with that question, okay? So again, welcome everyone who's joining us. Appreciate you guys each and every week joining and asking your questions. Please post your questions like our friend from North Carolina. I also ask people, tell me where you're joining us from. If it's North Carolina, if it's Michigan, if it's in Kenya, it'd be nice to know. So put that in the comment section along with your questions, okay? So let me go back over here to our other friends. Estelita, is always a pleasure to communicate with you from the Philippines. It's a way different time zone in the Philippines, but you're very dedicated to joining us. And I know that we have some communication going on about your process. But again, thank you for joining us every Monday, okay? So again, type your questions in the comment section. If you want to join live with me, there's a link that I posted a few posts up. Go ahead and go on there and click on it so we can actually bring you onto the live program so you can ask a question. Otherwise, just type it in, okay? So let's see here. So welcome all of our friends. Our friend for North Carolina. Everyone else seems to be a bit shy tonight, which is fine. I'm assuming this individual, Felix Good Luck Nigerian Limited, joined the call. I'm assuming you're from Nigeria, so welcome to our friend from Nigeria, okay? Let's see. Okay, so let me go to some of these questions that I had earlier, okay? So this is a very important question. Can I get advanced parole to visit sick family if I have a pending asylum case? I talked to a gentleman last week about this. He's got an asylum case that he's had for years. I think it was over 5 years. And his father is really doing poorly. And he wants to know, can he leave the United States even though he's still waiting for his darn interview with asylum? The answer to that question is yes. Okay, you got to know how to do it. But yes, you can apply for a travel permit to leave the United States for a very specific reason. This is a very specific reason, humanitarian reason. Immigration right now is definitely approving requests like that. Don't wait too long, because right now we have one president that says one thing about immigration. We might not have that president next year, okay? If we have another president, whether it's Trump or someone else, these opportunities might not exist. So I'm always telling people, if you have an opportunity to do something with immigration right now, do it. So if it's advanced parole to leave and to come back, whether you're going to use it to fix your green card or get a green card, or if you just need to desperately visit a family member that's doing sick, you have the right to do that right now. Under this administration, I've had tons of success doing it. So if you have questions, you can reach out to me and I would love to help you with that. Okay. So reach out to me. Okay. You could post a comment in the comment section on our social media. Any of your social media, you can reach out to us through that. I can also post the link that you can get in touch with us directly. 1 second here, folks. Cut and paste. All right. So if you want to reach out directly to me, this is how you do it. This link here allows you to schedule a consultation to speak with me. So a lot of people on these calls on Monday, they don't necessarily want to air their difficulties, so they want a consultation. So a lot of times people just schedule consultations. So let me look here. I think I saw something else. Okay, so the question here, how can a client talk to me in person? That link is how you do that. That link will get you in touch with me and my staff. And if you want to come in person and meet me and see if I'm really real, you want to pinch me, no punching, but if you want to pinch me and see if I'm real, that is how you do it. Okay. So reach out to us. You can always go to my webpage too. There's contact information there. Look at the bottom of the screen here. Our 800 number is right here, 888-589-2228. If you want to reach to schedule consultation or to come in person, however you want to do it, okay? So let me look here again. Lots of people coming from our friends at Instagram. So again, the parole in place is a huge thing. So I just talked about advanced parole. That's different. It has the same word in the phrase, but they're very different processes. They're hugely beneficial for people that use them the right way. So advanced parole, yes, you can do it for asylum. This is a follow-up question that my client asked. Should I get advanced parole or wait for parole in place? Big question, awesome question. So again, what does that mean? Advanced parole is intended for people to leave the country and to come back after doing some sort of important business, whether humanitarian base, visiting family overseas, whether it's business base, whether there's family financial issues. That's traditionally what advanced parole was. Well, then people figured out that the government, when they let you back in the country without parole, it changes your status from zero status if you entered illegally to having legal status because the government legally gave you permission to return to the United States. Now, sometimes that is a very, 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 very short window, but other times it's long enough to do things like apply for a green card inside the United States so you don't have to leave and risk a 10-year bar. So advanced parole does that. Parole in place, whole different galaxy from that. Parole in place, this new program that's going to be released sometime next month, allows people who entered illegally in the United States and who have been in the United States for over 10 years and who are now married to a U.S. citizen or actually got married to a U.S. citizen the day before the program was released are able to never leave the United States to get their green card. Parole in place. Very similar. It's a page out of the military parole in place playbook that's been around for years. The government will allow you to change your status and get your green card in the United States without having to leave, okay? Huge benefit. It's easier than the military parole in place because you don't have to have a family member in the military. I highly encourage people to join the military, their kids, spouses, whoever. I have tons of clients who have done that, and they've gotten this military parole in place, which is huge. But this parole in place for spouses and children of U.S. citizens, even better, right? Because You just have to show your relationship. You have to show your presence in the United States for over 10 years, and you get amazing benefits from that. Freedom from deportation, work permit, and the best part is the green card in the United States without having to leave and get a bar, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So we've got a friend joining us from New Jersey. Hello and welcome. What are the chances of having a USCIS interview once my 2-year permanent resident expires? So, okay, this question relates to removal conditions. So you entered the United States for whatever your history was. You got married to probably a U.S. citizen, and you were able to adjust your status to get your green card. Okay, if you do this, if you get married and file within the first 2 years of your marriage, you're a conditional resident. Okay, CR. If you see the stuff online, the government website, you're a conditional resident, which means you've got to remove the condition. The condition is what? The condition is the government doesn't give you a full 10-year green card unless you can convince them that your relationship is genuine, bona fide, instead of fake in order to get a green card. People who go through the removal of condition process don't have interviews, okay? It's a paper filing. You got to provide good evidence, but they don't interview you. So you had the one interview to get your green card. You don't have to have another one. So my friend in New Jersey, don't worry about that. When your 2-year residency is going to expire, you need to make sure you file for the removal conditions early enough so you don't lapse and you don't go out of status, because bad things happen to people who go out of status in the United States. So don't let that happen. If you have questions, schedule a consultation with me so I can help you figure out what you need to do. But yeah, you're in good shape. You don't have to do an interview. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, I had a couple questions that people asked me on social media earlier, and I'm going to pull that out right now. Okay. Okay. This was an interesting one. You're welcome. My pleasure. And again, if people are brave enough, they want to come on here and ask the question live, I posted a link earlier that would allow you to do that. So you just got to look above and check that out. Okay. Let's see, maybe I can post it again for you in case. One second. I'll do that while I'll multitask here. Okay. So I've been pretty good at multitasking over the years. So what I was going to say, I was going to read this question, which was a kind of an interesting question. Okay. Copy this. Stand by for 2 seconds. Okay. I'm going to post this. So if you want to come on the live, this is how you do it. There's the link. Okay. Okay. So this was a weird question. My mom got a request for evidence for her police clearance. So that tells me that this family and individual is overseas outside the United States going through the consular processing green card process. Got a request for evidence for police clearance, and for sworn affidavits because she is too old, and she doesn't have fingerprints. Okay, so if I'm reading this correctly, if you get a request for evidence for police clearance, I'm assuming it's because you did not provide them in the first place. If you provided them and you get a request for evidence, well, I don't exactly know what your request for evidence is, so I dare not comment on that. But you can reach out to me directly by clicking one of these links and letting me know more information so that I can answer the question more fully. But basically, if you got a request for evidence, follow it absolutely to the T. Don't leave it unanswered or they'll just deny you. Okay. So I probably need more information to fully answer your question. So you need to reach out to us and I'd be happy to do that. Okay. So this next question, I got my update. Excuse me, folks. I got my update on my premium work permit application as a request for initial evidence was sent. So in translation, You filed for your work authorization, you checked your online portal, and they say a request for initial evidence was sent, okay? How long does it take to get this request in hand, and how long will they take to respond after the request for evidence is sent, considering my application is in premium, okay? So again, once you formally get the request for evidence from immigration, they typically give you about 88 days in order to respond, okay? So you have 88 days to provide the information that they're requesting to them. Most of the time, you get it done a lot quicker than that, okay? Most of the time, if you get a request for evidence, I mean, if it's one of my clients, I respond that day or within a couple days. So responding is key because, the wait times and all that. So if you get a request for evidence, you respond right away. Chances are the government's going to get it pretty quickly. And usually they're really good about reviewing a request for evidence because they want this stuff off their desk. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want a stack of stuff on their desk. If they can get a response to their request for evidence, they're going to do it lickety split so they can be done. Okay. So you're in pretty good shape if that's the case. Okay. So here's a half question. Thank you. And how can I get, I don't know, incomplete sentence. So if Gurney Hydid, if you want to finish that question, I would love to hear it. If you want to click the link above and actually ask it in person, we can do that too. Sometimes it's easier so that I can actually hear the words you're saying and the way you're saying it. Sometimes the context is everything, okay? So let me go over here. Okay. So yeah, so those are the questions I had from earlier today. Again, I say this until I'm blue in the face a lot of times. No pun intended. Post your questions, okay? So basically, if you don't post your questions, I can't give you answers to information. You can go to my YouTube channel where I have a ton of videos. My last count is over 300 different videos about tons of different topics. And I always invite people to ask questions on my social media and suggestions. If you have questions or things that you would like to see videos on, put that in there. I'd be happy to do it, okay? Okay, so question here. How long will it take me before I can get my green card if I choose to pursue it by myself since my partner is abusive and controlling me? Okay, sorry to hear that. So basically what you're asking is the VAWA process. VAWA is the Violence Against Women's Act. Doesn't apply only to women. So men or women equally. If you have a spouse who was or could be your sponsor and they're not treating you right and they're a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, then you have the right to self-petition. You can petition yourself because the person who is supposed to be your protector and your sponsor is not treating you well. The United States doesn't like that, right? Immigration doesn't like when people are being abused. So they created the Violence Against Women's Act in order to keep people from being preyed upon and abused and used essentially as slaves, okay? So you can do that. You can absolutely do that. It is a process that's open to you. It takes a little bit of time. They take a long time reviewing these. It's a very technical process, okay? So that is an opportunity. So yeah, so definitely look into that, okay? Let's see here. What else do we have? Okay. Okay. So I answered all those questions there. So yes, very real possibility. A lot of different options with immigration if you know where to look or you know who to talk to. Okay, so so again, I'm asking people yet again to post your questions. Had a number of people posting questions, obviously already. Very good questions. I will remind people that every week I do this. Every week I post this video So if you heard something, but you didn't hear it right, or you don't remember what I said, you can go to our YouTube channel and check out that video. Okay. So check it out. Again, the best way to get good information is by posting your questions, to reach out to me directly, schedule a consultation, things that I can do to help you. And I'm happy to do. Okay. Follow up to the VAWA question. Is my spouse going to have to be contacted for it if I choose the VAWA process? No. So know thy chi. No, that is the point of the VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act. This is absolutely independent of your abuser. They don't know. They're not a part of it. Immigration doesn't tell them anything. We don't need anything from them. You absolutely leave them out of the loop. You avoid anything to do with them and your immigration. That's the point. Okay. So very, very powerful process, very similar-ish to the U visa process. Okay. You can petition yourself if you're the victim of a crime, or somebody did something to you, abused you. These processes are open to you, so you don't have to rely on jerks, and you can actually save yourself. Okay. So if you have any questions, again, check out my YouTube channel. I've got literally hundreds of videos that talk about these things, or you can schedule a consultation. If you have questions, you can get in touch with me. We're getting near the end of our time here. Oh, 1 second. I see another question. Sorry, my throat's been dry lately. Okay. I jumped on a ship, a D1 entry. Okay. So those are people that are usually working in the cruise lines. It's a special visa for people to enter the United States if they work for the tourist or cruise line industry. I'm married, and now you have a 601A that was, I'm assuming, denied. We found out I have a deportation order. That's not a good thing to find out. We did a FOIA, saying there's an FBI, OEIR. You did a lot of research into seeing what your records is, and it says there's no record showing. We file a 212, and now I'm waiting for 601A. Can I file a pro in place and adjustment of status? That's the $1 million question. Okay. You got a ton of stuff going on in your history, in your past. A lot of these things we won't know until Biden tells us. Okay. We're still watching the sand go down the hourglass. We don't know this information yet. We don't know if it's going to be very harsh with people that have prior issues like this. I think they will be very harsh. I think that there's a number of things that you just can't bounce back from. In addition to your immigration history, criminal history is always something that immigration looks at. So I'm not implying that you have a criminal history here, but I'm saying that there's certain things that just can't be fixed, okay, that immigration will not allow you to fix. There might be a process for trying it, but it really depends on what it is, okay? Like this information here, I have a deportation order. Deportation orders aren't necessarily deal breakers, just to let you know that. You would benefit from having a consultation. I put the link above earlier, so if you wanted to have a consultation, I would encourage you, okay? So reach out to me. Okay, let me go over here. Let's see. So again, more questions about this VAWA. You probably need to reach out to me for a direct consultation because you have a lot of questions. VAWA is hugely powerful. Go to my YouTube channel and do a search for VAWA. And there's certain videos that I've done in there. If you don't get the answer there, schedule a consultation, reach out directly to me so I can help you, okay? So very important stuff. We're toward the end of our time. Next week, I appreciate everyone who joins us every week. I see a lot of repeat people. Next week, I really am going to encourage somebody to try to click the link to do a live question, okay? You don't have to. It's just kind of a cool feature that we love to have live people. You gotta usually have your phone so you can have your camera facing you so we can see you, or just type your question. No big deal. Okay. So again, I want to thank everyone who's joined us. Let me think anything that I forgot or missed. I don't think so. But there's a lot of really good information on my YouTube channel. If you can't find it there, schedule a consultation to talk to me directly. Okay. If you want to do it in person, you want to do it on Zoom or the phone, there's tons of options for people. So reach out to me. Thank you, everyone, for joining in again. See you next week at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Detroit time, for the next Immigration Live with Lee. And I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you later.